doing a lot of thinking recently, which usually for me is not the best thing in the world, because when I get thinking, usually it's a sign that something's about to change. So basically, long story short, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, I used to own a Fiesta ST180, and that inspired me to buy this car, the ST200. And I bought this car because I absolutely loved my ST180. It was my favorite car that I'd ever owned at that stage. And it was kind of a culmination of the perfect car at the perfect time, because I bought it, I think, when I was 22 years old. It was the first car that I'd ever bought for myself, and it was just perfect. It did everything that a 22-year-old would want a car to do. It was reasonably quick, it was fun, the handling characteristics were just amazing for developing, your basic driving skills. It was a manual. It just ticked all the boxes for a 22-year-old. There is no more perfect car, and I still stand by that. And I think that what ended up happening was, because it was such a great car at such a great time, I fell in love with that whole notion, that whole idea. I fell in love with being in love with that car, because, well, why wouldn't you? It was a perfect match. So naturally, changing over a couple of times to different cars, I eventually was feeling like I hadn't found another perfect match. I hadn't found a car that suited my lifestyle at the time that I was in. And obviously, like, your wants and your needs change. But I started looking for another vehicle, and naturally, I thought, you know what, ST200. It'll be everything that the ST180 was, plus a little bit extra. And that really sold me into the idea of getting this car. So that's what I did. I got an ST200, and I didn't just get a stock ST200, I got a modified ST200, because I thought, you know what, well, a few extra horsepower isn't going to kill anyone, is it? And I've now owned this car for 2 years, coming on 2 years. Nice A45 there. Don't know if you guys would have picked it up. It looks like it's very bright outside. I have owned it for 2 years, and I have enjoyed it very, very much. This is still a fantastic car. The Fiesta Mark 7 is still a fantastic base to build a hot hatch off. This car is amazing. However, I don't think it matches what I need anymore. It doesn't match me in the same way that the 180 did at that time in my life. And I think sometimes we overlook that basic element of is a car very good? Well, sometimes a car is very good for certain people. And even though I can appreciate this car's characteristics, I still appreciate the fact that it's reasonably quick. I still appreciate the handling characteristics. There are certain things about it that I've grown to not appreciate so much, such as the extremely firm ride, such as the fact that it's a manual. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments telling me that, oh, manuals are, it's the purest way. How can you hate on the manual? And I love manuals. I think they're the best way to engage and drive a car, and I've always owned manuals. But when you're daily commuting to work, sometimes they can get a bit annoying, and that's just the truth. And as good as manuals are, and as fun as they are, modern day automatics are also really, really good. And sometimes advancements, they make things better, and there'll always be a place for manuals. And I really think driving a manual is one of the purest forms of driving. But in terms of a daily driver, you really don't want a manual, do you? You want something that you can just knock back and take your mind off the road and just ease your way home after a long day. I'm feeling very melancholic because I love this car. I've grown very attached to it in the 2 years that I've owned it. However, it's not been the best behaved car. I've explained in my other videos the amounts of money that I've spent maintaining and repairing this car to get it to the point where it is now mechanically perfect. And that's what's also frustrating me, is that I feel like it's now at a stage where it's perfect. You know, there's nothing wrong with this car anymore. And now I'm feeling like I want to change. And that just, it seems a bit silly, doesn't it? But as car guys, we don't, or as car people, we don't have a logical brain, I don't think. And I certainly don't. But now that the car is fixed and it's working, I thought that would fix all of my doubts and all of my concerns regarding whether I actually still want to drive and keep this car. But it hasn't. I'm still sitting here thinking it just doesn't feel right. It hasn't captured that magic that I had with my old ST. And that's, you know, that's a pity. It's a shame, because I really wish that it would, because now I've got to go through the inconvenience of finding something else. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna cost me money to replace this, because, you know, it always does whenever you buy a new car, especially if you're trying to upgrade from what you currently have. It's going to cost you some more money. So I have been looking around, as you know I do on any daily basis, but I've been looking around with intent for something that I can actually change to. And the thing is, it's such a difficult car to jump to another car from, because to get the performance, the build quality, everything about this, and I've spoken about this in other videos as well, it's very, very hard to get this level of car for the same level of money. You basically can't. So you're going to have to spend more. You're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to have to pay a premium for a better car. But at this stage of my life, I think it's worth it. I think it's the right time. So yeah, I mean, I've done, the last time I switched from an ST, I went to an M135i, which was also a manual, beautiful car, but that also wasn't the right car for the right time. It was erroneously expensive to maintain, and it was coming out of motor plan, and I was scared of that car breaking and me having to be responsible to fix it, and not having the finances to be able to do that. Whereas, you know, I feel like now I'd be in a much better position to upkeep a car of that caliber. But once again, I feel like this has burned me a little bit. I don't want to go back to a car that I've had previously, because, well, once you've done it, you kind of done it. You know, you want something new. You want to experience something different. But yeah, anyway, leave a comment suggesting some cars that you think that I should take a look at and what I could potentially move to. Requirements are, I think it must be an automatic. It has to be as powerful, if not more powerful, than this car. And yeah, just a generally fun car to drive, fun to own and live with, as well as reliable. Please reliable. Don't come at me suggesting unreliable cars. I will not listen to you. But anyway, I will check you guys in the next video, and we will discuss some of the options.